saw the email I sent out yesterday. One of my favorite poems, The Guest House by Rumi. Because sometimes it seems like whatever is knocking on our door, we neither called out for or want to welcome, and yet there it is, just the same. And both our own emotions to everything that's going on and the stressors because of everything that is going on. How do we stay grounded into our own true essence and being okay with whatever is, being okay with it? Not saying accept it, but if we continuously deny and resent and fight, we can't actually become constructive in creating a reality that we want. So it sounds like I'm talking out two sides of my mouth. I promise you I'm not. But the awareness and then the discernment, viveka, in Sanskrit. So as you come and sit in a comfortable position, whether that's what I'm sitting in right now is sometimes called Burmese, one foot in front of the other. Then there is the Siddhasana, where again, very wide, the feet are stuck, are one on top of the other, and the toes are tucked in between the thigh and the shin. And then of course, Sukhasana, where it's a tighter fit and typically a little bit higher seat that we need for this. Whatever is comfortable for you, you want to feel that you can fully relax your knees down, that there is no gripping in the inner groins. Interesting little fun fact. There is a deep line, fascia line, and in yoga it's called the deep inner sutra, from the insoles of the feet, from the arches of the feet, through the pelvic floor, up to the jaw. So literally that deep center line. If there's tension in any one of the three or imbalance, there is going to be tension or imbalance in the other two. So it's just a fact. So now I ask you, let your seat relax. Let your jaw relax. And I saw, here we go, both Joanne and Meg, welcome. So a comfortable seat. And sense your body as you scan around. Are there body parts that you have unfriended for whatever reason? Invite them back into your house. Creating both a lift upward through the spine and a grounding down through the sits bones. Let your breath become even and steady. Let the belly expand on the in-breath, softening on the out-breath. When the breath is slow and steady, both the mind and the body will respond to this. I hear T.S.'s word often, speed gets trapped in our body. We get so used to rushing and hurrying about that we keep rushing and hurrying about even when we don't have to. The breath is what connects the body and the mind. So as you bring your awareness to your mind right now, observe it. Observe it with kindness. with lightheartedness. With the kind attitude of an elder, just listening to the woes of the youngins. And like the elder likes to say, this too shall pass. So tell your mind that this too shall pass. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Everything. So nothing is permanent. Even though we get attached to our emotions as permanent, they are not. And in your mind, is there something in your mind that is causing a weight on your shoulders? Or is there something in your heart space that's causing a weight on your shoulders? Is there a boulder on your back that you are carrying around with you? You may not be able to put it down, but maybe you can just put it down for a little bit. And know that it's still there, but you can take a break from it for a moment. It's okay. Letting the shoulders get a rest. Let your back get a rest. Let your mind just follow the breath. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you do so, and this was from the Fred Rogers movie I watched the other night, and I thought, this is so beautiful. Just take a moment and think of the people whose love has brought you to who you are right now, whose love has supported you on your path, who's helped shape you into who you are. That love never ceases. So as you hold that in your mind and in your heart, notice how the inner temperature changes. The best antidote to stress and overwhelm is love. The opposite of fighting is surrendering into what is. Let's open up the eyes. And we'll start with the quickie for your trapezius. And I teach this one off because I think it is so darn good. So I just want you to have it in your back pocket. When the neck begins to cramp up, you rub your neck. Do this one also. Sitting up tall, lift up through the sternum. And then draw the shoulders up to the ears. So squeeze them up high, squeeze them up so that the upper trapezius are now fully engaged. And I'm going to count to 30 as we take the shoulders down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, still going down, 27, 28, 29, and 30. All the way down. So now notice if your shoulders sit a little lower than when you started. Let's switch the cross of the legs. So easy shoulder movements. Again, warrants to doing regular, especially if you're really tight. Let's just do shoulder rolls. Drawing the shoulders forward. And then going the other direction, rolling the shoulders. So rolling the shoulders, but keeping the arms pretty passive. Well, that's going really well. Let's get the right rolling. And then add the left. It's like a broken toy, like a half a windmill. So let's do that in the other direction. Start getting the left going, and I'm going to add the right. And I have to say, you guys look way more organized than I feel in my shoulders right now. Well, wait, do I have something for you? So let that all rest out. But now we're going to start the right going forward. That's going good. Left is going to go backwards. That's going great. Now we're going to do the opposite. Switch. If you find you're really stuck in an idea or trouble solving anything, this is just a good one to pull out of the bag because you can't think of anything other than trying to get the shoulders rolling well. All right, let's do the shoulders again a couple of times forward and a couple of times backward. So if you're sitting at a desk, even if the desk is your kitchen table, take some shoulder breaks to give your mind a pause. Now the neck stretches. You're going to use the strap just a little bit. Right now, we're just going to do the neck. Last time we did the whole trapezius work. It's a little simpler. First, simply turn and look over your right shoulder. And we return to center. And turn and look over the left. We return to center. Just go from side to side. Don't move into pain. Don't overstretch. About 3 times each direction. And then coming back to center. Now drawing your right ear up to lower the left ear, but think of keeping and creating length on the right side. Keep your right shoulder down, pulling it down, and then lifting up. And then the other side. I'm going to talk more about these side guys here. So pulling your right shoulder down as you take the ear first up and down. So don't just collapse the head to one side, but lifting up to take it over. Let's just do that several times on each side. Lifting the ear up, but pull that side shoulder down. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. We all have habits. What's going on the tighter side? All right, we're back at center. Turn your head about 45 degrees to the right. And then look down as if you're going to check to see if your deodorant is still working. This is one of Terry Brown's old jokes. And you inhale, you lift the head up. Turn 45 degrees to the other side. Now we're talking to the prissy girls, the scalenes. Draw. Take a little sniff out of your left armpit. Lifting up again. Go back to the first side. It's also like a very queenly bow, isn't it? As you draw down and coming up. So if you think that sounds better than the deodorant check, you can do a royal bow. Do about 3 times on each side. And notice again, is there a difference in how your neck feels from side to side? These are all cues and clues to how we use our bodies and where there are some imbalances. And then as you now come up and draw to center, let's look down. So don't collapse, keep the chest lifted as you draw the chin towards the chest. So that's the Jalandhara Bandha. Chin to the chest. And then inhale, looking up, keep the back of the neck long. Keep the back of the neck long. And this is the movement with a forward head posture that is often lost because there's no place for the head to go. So we lose the extension of the neck. That is not a good thing. Switch across of the legs again. So our 2 shoulder stretches that we have are Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So let's take the strap into the right hand and take the arm overhead. Bend the elbow, take the arm out to the side, slice it up behind and connect to the strap. And don't make it super hard so that you have to contort your spine to come into the pose. Better off giving yourself a little bit more space between the hands so that your spine is still neutral. The back of your head will be pressing into your right arm. So there's a little isometric movement. So now once we're in the pose, the work really begins. First, let's draw the elbow towards center line. Draw your right elbow towards center line. And then lengthen the elbow up towards the sky. It's like you're stretching your armpit longer, but keep the elbow rolling towards the face. Elbow draws to the face. Bev, I'm looking at your elbow. Something going on with your shoulder today? Ish. So bring the cow's ear in so the listening is forward. Yeah, because it's easy. You can get stuck out to the side. And taking it in. Now the work really is the shoulder blades. Draw your right shoulder blade up and away from the spine, and that facilitates that rolling in. And as you exhale, the left shoulder blade draws down and towards the spine. Let's do it one more breath. Right shoulder blades moving up, away from the spine. This is your downward facing dog arm position. Exhale, draw the left shoulder back and down. This is your shoulder stand, your bridge pose, your cobra, your shalabhasana. So we have all of the inversions and the, that's what I meant to say. In these 2 arm positions. That was a nice long stretch, don't you think? Let's release. Take your right arm up and down. Other side. Arm straight up, reaching up. So your ear and your biceps are becoming really BFFs. Bend the elbow. Drop the arm back. Let's take the right arm out. Hand out to the side. And again, draw the left elbow towards the face. Staying centered in the face, rolling it in from the shoulder blade. The work begins. Lengthening up through the left elbow. And then exhale, draw the right shoulder blade both down towards the spine. Lengthening up again. And right shoulder blades. You're moving the shoulder blades around on your back. Can you feel it? not just yanking on the strap, we're getting all the muscles around the shoulder blades activated and talking. The in-breath responds to the top arm, extension. And the lower arm, your right arm, draws the shoulder blade in and down. One more time, one more breath. And slowly, let's slide the right arm down, straighten the left, and up. Let's take the arms out to the side, eagle arms. Cross the right arm over the left, twirling the forearms together and palms. And the alternatives to this is either forearms pressing or the hug. So somebody's complaining about tension, tightness between the shoulder blades. Teach them either variation, because you know how it is. Everybody becomes a yoga teacher. Now here, drawing the shoulders down, but lift the elbows up to about shoulder height if it's available, but don't be too aggressive. And you can feel how your whole back is now spreading. But keep drawing the shoulders down and then bow the chin to the chest, bow the chin to the chest. Breathe. And then inhale, let's take the gaze up, arms out, and switch. Other side. Other side. To find the cross that is comfortable for you, whether it is twirl with the back of the hands or forearms together or the hug. Again, begin by drawing the shoulders down. Lift the elbows up and then bow the chin to the chest. And this way we isolate the upper trapezius and we are spreading the shoulder blades. Breathe in between the shoulder blades into the back side of your heart, sometimes referred to as the side of our heart that lies in the shadows. What is back there? Can you bring life to that? One more breath. And we draw the gaze up and release. Take the arms down. Let's roll the shoulders again. And we are ready almost to come on to tabletop. But I just want to take a little sidebar. If you have been diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia, we all know don't do forward folds in yoga, but we don't always think about, well, what is a forward fold? Well, cat and cow is a forward fold because once I'm rounding. So 3 places where osteoporosis are the first responders: hips, thoracic spine, and wrists. And what is really critical about the thoracic spine is the front part of the vertebrae are a little spongier, a little softer than the backside. So if we have a kyphotic posture, the softer side, that is not really, what's the word I'm looking for, made for weight bearing, becomes weight bearing, and therefore more likely to crumble. So paramount, first of all, for the posture, but also it is one of those like public awareness things. It's when we are using our back, and we use our back all day long, be really mindful about. So your cat and cow, instead of being round and cat and cow, maybe cow and flat instead. Does it make sense how I say that? Because too much of a good thing is a good thing. I will be doing a whole sequence on osteoporosis coming up in a not too distant future, and to really evaluate how can we continue to practice yoga safely, because it is such a darn event. We don't really know about it until we have the DEXA scan or we have a fracture. And the best prevention, should have started decades ago, but it's never too late. That's the thing, it's never too late to get going. So I just wanted to say that. So don't be over aggressive in the rounding, especially if you have been diagnosed with osteopenia, osteoporosis in some parts of your body, because could be some things. So I don't want to scare you, but I also don't want to not tell you how to be safe. Fair? So with that said, let's come into tabletop. And I'm going to take my shirt off here. So in tabletop, draw the belly button towards the spine. Let's take the right leg back, stretch the right heel back. So it's a little bit of a calf event. And then let's switch, left leg back. Press the toes down as you draw the heel back again to get a little bit of more length onto the back of the leg. Let's take the knee down. Now let the sternum draw down between the arms, if you will. So we are retracting the shoulders like the vulture back. Shoulder blades are squeezing together as if they are rolling around the spine. Now press your arms up straight. So you are not in a cat pose, but you are protracting the shoulders, spreading the shoulder blades. Let's repeat that again. Drawing the sternum down so the shoulder blades have drawn together, and then lifting up, protracting, shoulder blades are spreading. Now ground firmly through the right hand. Let's take the left arm forward. Take the left arm forward. And take the left hand down. Ground through the left hand. Take the right arm forward. And switch from side to side. Keep your supporting arm in the protracted, not the collapse, but protracted where you're lifting up. And you go from side to side. Notice, does one hand support better than the other? So shoulder stability comes in large part from the serratus anterior. The little dude that has to hold the shoulder blade down is like a little suspender. It connects to the side ribs and then to the bottom of the shoulder blade. So as you're going from side to side, keeping your weight-bearing arm protracting, but as you lift and lower, can you feel your shoulder blade sliding on your back? There's a great movement for shoulder strengthening and stability. After the next hand, the left hand, let's take the hands a little bit wider. Walk the knees back a wee bit. And then stretch the hips back for puppy pose. Puppy pose. Pull the hips back. So hands a little bit wider, hands turned out. And then inhale, coming up to modified plank. Release the tops of the feet coming into our tall cobra. And then exhale, stretch back to puppy. So notice I'm not doing the roll up in this variation because if there's osteopenia or osteoporosis, that would be contraindicated. I'm coming straight up, then I'm going into a back bend because I want to create more space on the front between my vertebrae. I'm also tractioning as I go back. Hold the hips back, but keep the hands reaching forward. Moving through this, very simple. Now, if you have no diagnosis of osteoporosis, osteopenia, you are absolutely free to roll and round up. But without, I don't know. I want you to be safe. You and all of the cats. Back and forth. Now, next time you go back, oh wait, before I say that, next time you come forward to modified plank, let's get out blocks. to the top of the mat. Getting our blocks to the top of the mat. Once they are there, let's tuck the toes under. And we're ready to go back to downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, same principle. In your shoulders, broadening the shoulder blades. Roll the outer armpits towards the earth. Let's bend the knees deeply. Bend the knees deeply. Pulling the hips back. Pull the hips back. Pull the hips back. Pull, pull. Sally, pull the hips further back, further back. If it's available in the shoulders, or you can come down and rest anytime. Let's inhale, straightening the legs, or exhale. That would have been a better cue, but good thing it ain't fatal. And look up on the in-breath. Exhale, step the right foot up between the hands. Step the right foot up between the hands. Let's take the back knee down and support it with a blanket. If it's going, I really like a blanket. Just slide a blanket under your knee. And then have your blocks medium, maybe high. So again, be mindful of the front spine so it doesn't round. Lunge your right knee forward. Lunge the right knee forward. And if it overshoots the ankle, creep the ankle forward. Creep the foot forward so that the ankle is perpendicular. Now let's work a little bit on the hamstring. Let's stretch the hips back. And inhale, coming forward. And again, taking care that you keep the spine long, not rounding the front of the spine. So hence the higher blocks. And the blocks can move further back towards the hips if that helps keep the spine long. So just being mindful. Back and forth. Back and forth. Next time we draw back, pause here just for a moment. Press the heel down. Draw the heel isometrically back. Isometrically back. And then we come forward. We're back into the lunge. Now shift the weight back so we come into the proposal stance. Let's take the arms to the sky, reaching up. Clasp the left wrist with the right hand. Clasp the left wrist with the right hand. And then extending up and side bend to the right. Side bend to the right. So taking care you're not rotating. It's a straight side bend. Straight side bend. So we're getting the whole length of the psoas. Whoo, yes, we are. And let's release, come back up to center. Now let's take the hands behind. Interlace the fingers. So use your strap. So that is always a possibility. Roll the shoulders down and back, straightening the elbows. And then inhaling, lift the arms, but relax the chin down towards the chest. Lift the arms back, lift the arms back. Keep drawing the lower abdomen in and up, in and up. So you're getting a little bit of a quad stretch here too. And release the hands. Let's take the arms all the way up. One more time. Reaching up, reaching up. And let's take the hands down. Step back to downward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. And that can be puppy. If that feels better on your wrists or elbows or shoulders tonight, puppy it is. Let's inhale forward to plank pose. Plank pose. And from plank, with shoulders over the wrist, heels over toes, exhale back to downward facing dog again. Back to downward facing dog. Draw the hips up and back, up and back. Spread the shoulder blades. Traction the spine. Traction the spine. And that may mean that you're going to bend the knees to accommodate tight hamstrings. It is perfectly fine. Look up as you inhale and exhale. Let's step the left foot up between the hands. And take the right knee down. Take the blocks again. Lunge the front knee, the left knee forward. And again, if the knee overshoots the ankle, creep the foot out further. And let's do the little twofer. Hamstring and psoas and hip flexors. Go back and forth. Keep the front spine long as you draw back. It's tempting, I know, to round. But keep the belly button on the spine and keep length. So you may not go down as deep. That's perfectly fine. And next time you draw back, let's stay back. Dig the heel down. Keep lengthening the hips back. Lengthen the hips back. And you feel as you press the heel down and drag it isometrically towards your hip, there's a little something, something, something happening. And shift forward. And back to the proposal lunge again. So if you feel unsteady with the foot that far out, slide it in, perfectly fine. I am just very particular about shoulder, over hip, over knee. Let's take the arms up and look at the right psoas. Girl, clasp your right wrist with your left hand, and the hand is turning out. And let's side bend to the left, side bend to the left. Breathing in to the right side. Keep drawing the belly in and up, the hip flexors, getting a little bit of length. So that's the top part of the quads. And of course, the psoas. And we inhale back. Take the hands behind. Interlace the fingers again, but switch the clasp of the hands, so the awkward side. Roll the shoulders back and down. And as you inhale, begin to lift the hands, but relax the chin down at the same time. Squeeze the shoulder blades together on the back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. One more breath. And release the hands. Let's take them up overhead. One more time. And we're going to take the hands down. And step back to downward facing dog. Again. From downward facing dog. Inhaling forward through the plank into upward facing dog. Toes can stay tucked under. And exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale through plank into upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And we're ready to take it all the way down. Take the knees down. Release the tops of the feet. And then thighs, hips, belly, chest, forehead. Let's take the hands behind the head. Again, shoulders down and together on the back. Legs together. And inhale is lift. The heart, the head was float up. And the legs and the hand. Pull left, pull left. Pull left. Nice, powerful pose. And exhale, relax down, release down. This one is one of the super poses. So I think we should do it again. You can use your strap or interlace the hands. Roll the shoulders up and down the back. Roll. Squeeze the shoulder blades tightly together. And then when you're ready on the in-breath, lift the heart, let the head float up. Don't overlift the head, lift the legs. And then lift, 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 as if somebody's holding your wrist and pulling them back towards your heels. Breathe in, lift a little high, just a little high, get a little bit more air, and then exhale. Woo, releasing down. Take the hands under the shoulders and push back to wide-kneed child's pose. Inviting the breath into the back body. Again to the back side of the heart. Give it a good sweep. And then take the hands under your shoulders and sit up. And you can take one of your blankets. So this is folding half, or bath towels, works just as well. But you want it to be spinal length. So this is, just fold it once over, and then you're gonna roll it in the long direction. And roll it tight. Now we're gonna do one roll tonight. You can absolutely do 2 rolls. It's a bigger roll. This is a spinal roll, the spinal roll. And what that works in particular, if there's a lot of collapsing inward, if the pecs are tight, I'm going to show you this from the side. Pecs are pulling forward, everything is collapsing. So this roll will help create opening this way. The best way to come onto this, place it like a long baguette on your mat, and then lay down, tailbone to skull beside it, and simply roll up onto it. And you may find that you're going to need a blanket here for the head. If your chin is jutting back away from the chest, I recommend that you also support the head. Take the arms out to cactus arms. Cactus arms. So bent knees. So in this one here, keep the knees bent up. And the next one, that will be a choice. This is a great way for you to rest if you have been sitting forward, if the shoulders are really rounding forward, not down. That's a pec minus. We're going to get to those. Letting the breath just support you. Breathing in and breathing out. Because you've placed your shoulder joints below the spine. This helps work on the pec major, pectoralis major, the muscles that connect from the arm bone across the chest to the sternum. Now I invite you just to rock any big little rocks from side to side. And don't lift your elbows up, they're going to stay down, but as you rock a little bit to the side, you feel how you're getting just a little bit more opening across the front of the shoulder joint. Letting your nose travel with the sternum. Don't fall off. As you come back to center, walk the feet together. And then draw the belly button towards the spine and towards the mat. So we're flattening a little bit. Draw one knee in. If that feels safe, draw the other knee in. So now we're balancing on this roll. If this is really unsteady or painful for you, keep both feet down. You'll do the reverse. So I'm just checking in with everybody. Knees over the hips, shins are about parallel to the ground. As you exhale, tap your right foot to the mat. Don't lift the low back. And then the left. Going back and forth. Keep the spine still and steady. Now, if this again is very unsteady, very uncomfortable, then keep the feet down, and instead of lowering the leg as you exhale, you will lift the legs up. Just a little core work. A weak core, the shoulders, the neck, and the jaw become, what's the word? The lack support. Everything collapses inward again. All right, let's do it one more time. Each side, keep the low back pressing down. And place the feet down onto the mat. Let's breathe. Breathing in, breathing out. Belly breath. And now take the arms down. Grab onto the mat. Walk the feet in. So we're going to do bridge pose here to lengthen the core back out. It's a little easier to get the shoulder rolled under here. So almost a sense of hugging or grabbing the roll behind the back. As you inhale, lift the hips. Then exhale, lowering down. Inhaling, lift the hips. And exhale, lowering down. So don't be over aggressive in drawing the shoulders down. You don't want to flatten the back of the neck. So there's going to be a little bit of a curve. Let's lift up again. But squeeze the roll with the shoulder blade. How can you tell if you're flattening the back of the neck? It's going to sound like this. So you should be able to speak normally. The work is in the legs. The work is in the legs. But with the shoulders drawing back and grabbing onto the mat, the roll. And we're going to exhale. And we're going to slowly come down. As you come down, we're going to pause. And then here, take your right arm up to the side and then roll off the support. Roll off the support. Move it out of the way so you can come to lay flat on your back. Keep the knees bent, but just notice, how does your back body feel? Breathing into the back. And you feel the movement of the back ribs. And then let's roll all the way over onto one side and sit up. You're going to grab your roll again. This time, unroll what you did and roll it in the opposite direction. So now a little bit thicker roll. And you're going to place this on the mat, but you're going to place it in the opposite direction what we just did. And then you're going to take your strap and you're going to have about a shoulder width loop. If you don't have a strap, don't worry about it. But if you have a strap, create a shoulder width loop, because we're going to be taking our arms through the loop. So just measure. So where the first one really works on the congestion forward, this one works on the pec minors, which travels down from top down. So this is where we get a lot of neck compression. If we have shooting things in the arm, this could be part of it because everything congests. So you will come into place the roll so it just clears your armpit. And then take one hand under the head, take one hand under the head and let the head go back. If this is not uncomfortable, then you're good to go. If it sucks, take another blanket or a block and support the head so that you feel a little bit more at ease in the pose. Once that's cleared, now I put my strap on my arms and have the straps just below the elbows, which in this case is above the elbows, but on the forearm. The strap will be around the forearm. And then here, now draw the ribs down. Draw the ribs down towards the hips. And then protract the shoulders. Again, lift the fingertips towards the sky. Draw the arms overhead. Draw the arms overhead. And then inhale, take the arms back up. Retract the shoulders. And then protract again. So we did this at the very beginning. Take the arms overhead again. Keep the ribs drawing down towards the hips. So don't let them pop up. One more time, take the arms up. Retract, pull the head of the upper arm bone into the shoulder socket, then lift up. Last time, take the arms overhead, overhead. Reach the arms back, get as long as you can, and then straighten the legs out. If that's uncomfortable, bend them again. Now keep drawing the ribs, the lower ribs down towards the hips so that they're not splaying up. So we're looking to create length upward around the shoulders. Reaching out through the heels. Breathe in. One more breath. And then slowly inhale. Let's take the arms up. Let's move the strap out of the way. You're going to use it in just a minute. And then bend the knees. Use your hands to lift the head. Lift the head. And you're going to roll off to one side. Move the roll out of the way. And again, you're going to come onto your back and rest. Coming onto your back and rest. Notice your back body. And that has now landed us at Viparita Karni. Legs up. The wall. We're going to do the supported version tonight. So hence the reason I asked you to identify a wall suitable. So move your mat to a wall or door. Just make sure that it's a door that nobody's going to come running in through. That would be very unfortunate. And then take a blanket. And if you have a thick carpet, you're probably not going to need your mat. Take a blanket, fold it, and then just unfold the whole bit. And if you have a second blanket, you will use that under your sacrum and low back. Easiest way to come up into Viparita Karni, and turn the camera so you can actually see what I'm doing, is to sit with the hip close to the wall, then go to the forearms, get the buns on the wall, and drop and roll. Drop and roll. And now here, take your strap, loop again if you have it, and cinch it around mid-thigh. Mid-thigh. So Viparita Karni, it is one of the few poses that is listed in the Yoga Hatha Pradipika. So it is one of the classical poses, and it literally says that it will remove wrinkles and it will change gray hair into, well, not gray. It will remove all signs of aging. So it's like, well, I guess it's worth a shot. We're also going to give our neck muscles a gentle massage. What we're going to work on is first the sternocleidomastoid. So that is the big dude. If we're going to start with the left side, so turn your head to the right and you feel this ropey business from right behind the ears down to your collarbones. That's the sternocleidomastoid. And you simply just grab onto it and then give it little tweaks, if you will, little tweak. If you turn your head and pull the chin down towards the chest, you're going to make it a little bit more prominent. Now, the thing about massaging the sternocleidomastoid is you can only do one side at a time. Some of you heard me say that. So go from behind the ear and just pinch your way down to the collarbones. A little pinchy, twisty. These muscles get awfully tight from holding our head up. And then after you've done both sides, we're going to visit with the scalenes. They are the muscle that runs underneath the sternocleidomastoid, also attaches to the skull. And then they come down to the first and the second rib, so they go under the collarbone. So if you take your hands, you sort of lift up your shoulders and you get a little valley, and you might find as you dig your fingers down that there's some tender spots down here, because these, again, scalenes, they get really irritated, but they are hard to get. Now, do you have more tension on one side than the other? So the reason you're only doing one side at a time at the neck with the sternocleidomastoid is because it's right near the carotid artery, and you don't want to pinch them off both of them at the same time. That could be very unfortunate. Now take your hands behind your head, interlace the fingers, and take the pinky fingers right up under the skull. And I like to layer my my ring fingers one on top of the other. Draw the elbows up towards the sky. And now crunch your fingers, crunch your fingers. This is very uncomfortable if you have a ring on, but as you crunch your fingers, you are actually tractioning the back of the neck longer. So this is a little uncomfortable. And then relax. Let's relax the hands. And pause here. Relaxing your breath. Relax your arms. And if it's uncomfortable for you to have your legs up, then I invite you and welcome you to just choose a position that is comfortable for your body. Deep and easy breath. On the next exhalation, allow your heels to slide down the wall so that you can take the strap off the legs if you have it on. And then you're gonna scoops and mosey back so that you can cross your shins or ankles. Lay flatter. And whichever position you're in, let's draw the knees in. Rock the knees from side to side. And roll all the way over onto one side. Traditionally the right. Just pause for a moment. Remember, speed gets trapped in our bodies. Can we linger? The art of lingering. We'll use the top arm, press into the floor and do a slight roll forward. so that you gazes down as you come up. Don't let the head be the first thing that pops up. It's like the evening set in the last hour. Let's bring the palms together. And close with a chant for peace. The chant of Om Shanti, 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 Om. Please join me. Take a deep breath in. Om Shanti, 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 Om. Exhale, bow your head towards your heart. A place of love, boundless love. The purpose of love is to support, to nurture, to bring forth. As you inhale, let's take the gaze up. Thank you. Namaste.